What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. It is a beautiful Tuesday right now, and we are back on NBA 2K25, back in the Stephen Curry era, back with another rebuild in the Steph era, like I just said. And today we got the Paul George Pacers on tap. Obviously, this is when Paul George, right around the time when he told the Pacers he won't be resigning, which led to them trading him to the Thunder. Obviously, we got to do the opposite of what happened. It sounded like the Pacers didn't want to do anything to make the team better, which is why Paul George ultimately told them he wouldn't resign. Well, this time around, we're going to do things to make this team better. So let's just go ahead and jump in and do the Stephen Curry era Indiana Pacers rebuild. Before we get into today's video, make sure you guys drop a like on this one and subscribe if you're new to this channel. As always, greatly appreciated. But let's talk about the Pacers because, of course, this team went to the conference finals twice, went toe-to-toe with LeBron James and the Miami Heat. They fell short both times, and, you know, they did have a decent team after that. But eventually, as I just mentioned, Paul George sounded like he said that the Pacers had guys or there was guys that wanted to come to Indiana, but the Pacers didn't want to do anything about it, which ultimately led to him, moving on, didn't want to stick around because it felt like the Pacers didn't want to do anything to get better. So he gets traded to the Thunder for Oladipo and Sabonis, and Oladipo was a ton of fun for a while, but you can't ignore how good Paul George was for this Indiana team. So what we're going to do in year one, obviously this team still needs a lot of work. We got Jeff Teague, Rodney Stuckey, Paul George, Thad Young, Miles Turner. It's an okay starting five, but it definitely needs some work. You got Glenn Robinson, Aaron Brooks, Monte Ellis, and Georges Niang as well. I actually didn't realize Georges Niang played for the Pacers, so that's pretty interesting. But let's go ahead and simulate year number one. Let's see how this team does. I mean, there is a potential we could stop at the deadline immediately and make a move. Like, we could do that. Like, Jeff Teague is on an expiring contract. Like, are we going to re-sign him is a good question. Miles Turner still on a rookie contract. And outside of that, we should maybe have a little bit of money to work with. We might have some bum making so these random guys are always making weird amount of money in this era, which is really annoying because obviously these guys don't even exist. Why are they making that much money? But regardless, we're going to go ahead, simulate year one. If I do stop at the deadline and do anything, I will show you. Other than that, I'll probably just see you in the off season, or, if we make the playoffs, I'll see you there, of course, as well. Today's video is brought to you by two softwares designed to help you beat the sports books and become a much profitable sports bettor. We're starting on Daily Grind Fantasies Optimizer. So if you plan apps such as Prize Picks, Underdog, or any of these popular DFS apps, having a tool like this is insanely awesome to have. Now, of course, it's early in the week, so we don't got a ton of value on the board. NBA is right around the corner, which is going to be a ton of fun. Value will be popping up like crazy. You'll have hockey as well. But there is a nice little play here on no run first inning on the Braves and Mets game. As you can see, all the juice is on the under here. You even got minus 130 being one of the books. You got BetMGM at minus 130. Obviously, Bovada at 1.5 is minus 290, but that's because minus 1.5. That's 2 runs in the first inning. And then you got Jake Ferguson under 4.5 receptions on the Thursday night game. Daniel Jones under 32.5 pass attempts. So you got one book listing at 31.5. So pretty solid value across the board. I also love OzGem's positive EV tool as well. So you got the Commanders versus the Cardinals over 23.5 first half total points. The last night game was insane. Besides that, this actually already moved. As you can see, this moved to minus, or it's not available at all. It looks like Flip just completely removed it. As you can see, Pinnacle and DraftKings had this at minus 151 and minus 138. So there was clear value here. Fortunately, missed out on it. But yeah, definitely would have been a really solid play to plug and play. And then on Prize Picks, they are running this Caleb Williams free square back once again. Make sure to check out Prize Picks. If you use my code on any of these links down in the description below, on Prize Picks, you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100. On two softwares, you'll get a percentage off your first month. Make sure to check them out. NFL is on. NBA is right around the corner. NHL is right around the corner. There's going to be so much value popping up on this board. It's going to be insane. So make sure to check these tools out. Check out Prize Picks. On that, let's get back to the video. LeBron James wins MVP. Blake Griffin still out here winning Rookie of the Year, even though he's not a rookie. You cannot really fix that, unfortunately. But here's All-NBA first team. Russell Westbrook, Harden, LeBron, Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins. All-NBA second team. All-NBA third team. Offensive first team and all defensive second team. I really didn't even look to see if Paul George made one of these. So it didn't look like he did, though. So unfortunately not. And we did end up missing the playoffs. So that's not a great look, obviously, as well. So if we take a look at the player stats, you had 25 from Paul George, which is great. 13 and 8 from Jeff Teague. 11 and 8 from Miles Turner. So not too shabby, but again, we got a lot of work we need to get done. So we ended up finishing at 33 and 49. So we weren't very good on this season. So clearly we need a lot of work going to the offseason, and we got to show Paul George that we're committed to winning, and we got to make sure he doesn't say, oh, I'm not re-signing. So that would be a problem, right? So the Spurs go on and win it all. Shout out to the Spurs. Metta World Peace, Mike Miller, and Richard Jefferson are all retiring. All right, lottery time should be important, should be interesting, because if we land ourselves a lottery pick here, that would be massive, especially if we get like a really good player in this draft to pair with Paul George. So let's see if we can jump up or at least stay at 7, which we do stay at 7. So I'll just see who kind of falls to me, and that will kind of direct the course of this video. So Nate McMillan, we were bad, but he does have quite a few badges, so I think I'll keep him around. Let's just head straight into draft night, and let's figure out who we're going to get in this draft. So number 1 is going to be Jason Tatum. Number 2 is going to be Justin Patton. Interesting. Although I think he does end up being pretty good in this draft class, I've noticed. So Marco, or at least in 2K. TJ Leaf. So we're definitely going to get someone really good falling to us. Lonzo Ball, and then Laurie Marketing. So, I mean, okay, we got to take Donovan Mitchell. I was about to say, I feel like I've gotten De'Aaron Fox twice now, which is why I didn't really want to take him. But the fact that Donovan Mitchell here as well, this is a no-brainer. We haven't been able to take Donovan Mitchell in a video, and this is a no-brainer. Welcome to Indiana, Donovan Mitchell. That is a great way to start this rebuild. So Donovan Mitchell paired with Paul George should be a ton of fun. We got Ish Wainwright. We got Monty. Oh, I do like the idea of Monty Morris here in the second round. So we'll take him at Iowa State. Of course, Monty Morris ends up being a pretty solid guard. But walking away with Donovan Mitchell is extremely awesome. I love that for us. So Mitchell and Monty Morris, not a bad draft. Okay, Miles Turner will accept. You got Rodney Stuckey accepting his $7 million. You got Glenn Robinson. George Nang, and then we can decline the rest of these, and then obviously some of these guys that don't actually exist will decline, and then he accepts his player option, which he shouldn't even have a player option, but it is what it is. All right, free agency. Do we have cap space? We do have money to resign Jeff Teague. I don't know if I want to though, so that'll be interesting to kind of figure out. But first and foremost, first thing we need to do is get rid of these 2 terrible contracts because they're not even real. So Philly, thank you for taking them. Boom, that's done. All right, so Paul George, Miles Turner, Thad Young, Monte Ellis. So I actually would not mind pairing Thad Young and Monte Ellis and, maybe making a big trade because I love the Donovan Mitchell edition. He's going to start the shooting guard spot, no doubt. Like, there's no way I'm putting anyone over him because he can naturally develop next to Paul George. That becomes dangerous. I do like Miles Turner still. What is going on with his hairline? But I do like Miles Turner as our starting center. All right. We got to make some moves, though. So I'm going to go ahead and see what I can get for Thad Young and Monte Ellis because I think moving on from them could be the best course of action here. So I'm throwing Thad Young and Monte Ellis in the trade finder. I do have a couple trades that I like in this one. So we can get a good Philly pick, but I'm not really looking to add first round picks. I want to add competitive players. So I do like this one from Chicago where we get Bobby Portis. He's under team control for 2 more years on a really solid contract. This other one that I like is Clint Capella from Houston. Capella is another guy that's under team control for only 1 year, so we'd have to re-sign him next year. But Capella and Miles Turner as our center rotation, I kind of like. Now, we do have to take on this really bad contract of Bruce Ferguson, which I don't love. It's actually insanely bad. $90 million a year for this guy who's 64 overall. I don't know. I think we do this trade with the Bulls because I don't want to deal with that contract. So we'll take the Bobby Portis trade. Capella would have been awesome too, but I don't mind Bobby Portis. I think I've gotten Capella in the video as well. So Bobby Portis, welcome to Indiana. I do like you. I don't know if I'm going to start you, but as a backup, that would be really solid to have. So I love that. I also think that saved us quite a bit of money on top of that. So that's awesome. So right now, we don't have a point guard. We have our shooting guard rotation. I mean, we could roll with Rodney Stuckey as the backup. That's fine. Donovan Mitchell will start, like I mentioned. So we do have Paul George and GR3 as our small forward rotation, or even one of these guys if they develop better than him. Bobby Portis, and then Miles Turner. So I guess point guard is probably the most important thing. We could just bring back Jeff Teague if we wanted to, but we'll look at all of our options. So do we have money for like Stephen Curry? We do have money for Steph Curry, but I don't want to do that. I kind of want to let, like I said, I kind of want to let Donovan Mitchell develop. Now, I will say John Wall becomes interesting. John Wall with Paul George kind of moves me. Iguodala, and then you got Jeff Teague. Like I said, we just, we could get Jeff Teague back and just kind of have him. I feel like he was a really solid point guard for us, averaging 13 and 8. I don't mind that. I think getting him back would be kind of nice. So I am going to re-sign Jeff Teague. So we'll start there because I want Mitchell to be able to score. So I want to bring in like a really good scorer next to Donovan Mitchell. And then a power forward, I do kind of like the idea of, Zach Randolph becomes interesting, but Paul Millsap also kind of moves me a little bit. I kind of like the idea of him. Now, he is somewhat expensive, though, not going to lie. The Hawks are trying to get him back, and then the Nets have came in an offer as well. Serge Ibaka doesn't sound too bad on top of that, but he will cost a little bit more than I want to pay. James Johnson. So I think if I could get Teague and Paul Millsap, that'd be awesome, but I don't know if I'll be able to pull this off. So we'll offer this. I don't even know if I'll be able to afford this, though, low-key. So I'm going to offer Paul Millsap a nice contract. I think him, Paul George, Jeff Teague, and Donovan Mitchell, I like it. So I don't know if we're even gonna be able to make this happen, but I'm gonna try and let's see if we have the money to do this. We do. Okay, so we get Paul Millsap and Jeff Teague in the same offseason. I've signed Paul Millsap before. Of course, I moved him immediately last time I did that, but I do love the addition of Paul Millsap. So yeah, I think all we need now is a backup 5, and someone I always love getting, and we could afford him still, is Mason Plumlee. Really solid backup 5. There's no reason not to go for him here, so I am absolutely going to sign him to a contract. So getting Plumlee as our backup center sounds great to me. We can still get like Rondo, or even got Brandon Jennings down here, who I get quite often as the backup point guard. But give me Rondo on a 1-year deal. I don't mind that as our backup point guard. So he goes to Washington. Just kidding. Ramon Sessions, someone I have not gotten before, so we'll just take him. He probably won't play too much, but not a bad offseason. Like Paul George, this is a contract year for him. So I think what we've done is show him that, hey, we want to win. So I think going after Jeff Teague, bringing him back, and going after Paul Millsap in the same offseason is exciting, and it's exhilarating. And having Mitchell, Paul Millsap, Paul George, Jeff Teague, I like it. And Miles Turner's developed to 85. Portis is up. PR3 is up. George Niang, Diamond Dermott. So all of this is great. Stuckey goes down, of course, but this is looking great. I can't complain too much. Millsap and George as a starter here, with Mitchell developing in the background eventually, is going to be a ton of fun. So I feel like next year we could be a playoff team. We didn't even trade our first round pick at all to do anything that we did this offseason. So we're in good standings. I really like how this video started so far. So let's get straight into the next season, and let's look at the rotation all together. And I cannot wait to see how this all unfolds. So getting in to 2018, we're going to go ahead and load this draft class, and let's look at the rotation all together now that that's loaded. All right, here we go. So rotation, you got Jeff Teague, Donovan Mitchell, Paul George, Millsap, Miles Turner. Love it. Exactly what I want to run. Bobby Portis, Plumlee, GR3, and then Diamond Dermott, George Niang. I am just going to run a 9-man rotation, but I am cool with what we got going on right now. We're going to shrink the bench utilization down just a tad bit. And then Mitchell, I don't know what his shot tendency is right out of the gate, but I prefer it to be kind of high. So his shot tendency is a 60. That's an absolute joke. Millsap's is a 71. But we want Mitchell to become the guy we know he can become. So we're going to push his shot tendency up. We want this guy to be the second scorer next to Paul George. Obviously, we know how good Mitchell was his rookie season. Went on to win a playoff series his rookie season over the Thunder. So let's go ahead, simulate year number 2, and hopefully this time around we find ourselves in the playoffs. At the end of year number 2, LeBron James does find himself as the MVP again. Markelle Fultz in Milwaukee uniform wins Rookie of the Year. Randall is your 6th man. Quite defensive player. Jaylen Brown most improved. And Doc Rivers is your Coach of the Year. And Hunter Thomas is your executive. But exciting news for us, because this season went really well. No Paul George in the All-NBA teams, unfortunately. All defensive first team and all defensive second team. All rookie first team. And we do get Donovan Mitchell making it. So curious to see what he averaged out of the gate. I guess we'll look at it all together with the other teammates. But we end up as the 3rd seed. So we went from missing the playoffs entirely to making it as a top 3 team in the East. I think that's definitely going to help Paul George consider re-signing with us. That's fantastic. So only 16 from Mitchell, his rookie season. Not too shabby. 15 from Paul Millsap, 14 and 9 from Teague. 12 from Miles Turner with 8 rebounds go along with that. 10 from Bobby Portis. So all around, really, really exciting stuff. So let's see if we can get into these playoffs and go win a series. So we get the Brooklyn Nets in round 1. They got Jeremy Lin, Dwayne Wade, Bojan, Trevor Booker, Brook Lopez, Solinger, Karis LeVert, Jarrett Allen, and Anthony Bennett. And Siri is down here talking to me for some reason. Siri, I'm not freaking talking to you. Got my phone. Hold it. Give me 1 second. My phone on the floor to stop me, to not be distracted. And Siri's over here talking to me. Dude, I don't know what's going on. But we saw what Brooklyn has. I feel like we should be able to beat them. Simulate current round. And we are going to be up 3-2. And we're going to a game 7. So game 7, let's see if we can come out here and win this game 7. It would suck to be the 3rd seed, and this is Paul George's contract year, and we lose. Like, that would definitely really hurt the re-signing of him, I feel like. And we got a close one, man. We got to win this one. This is like, not that I should be putting too much pressure in this hypothetical scenario, but, just kind of really thinking about it. If you really put yourself in that shoes in that scenario, you got to win this series. And it's looking good right now, and I think we did close them out. Okay, that's massive, because I think we would have lost. It would have hurt a little bit. So 24 points from Paul George, and then 23 from Paul Millsap. So the Pauls get it done. Love to see it. And now we get Toronto in round 2. So Toronto, they got Lowry, they got DeRozan. As you know, they've been pretty good in the sim. So definitely not ready to say we're about to beat them by any means. But here we go. Simulate current round against them. We got an even series once again. So we got a massive game 5 ahead of us in Toronto. So let's see if we can come out here and potentially win this one. This one is not looking good for us, unfortunately. It looks like we're going to go down in game 5, so that sucks. Let's go to game 6, and let's see if we can win game 6 potentially. And it's looking like we're going to lose this one as well, unfortunately. So I think it's just a matter of letting Donovan Mitchell develop. This is rookie season. We got one playoff series under our belt. But hopefully that was enough to show Paul George, hey, you know, maybe should resign, not leave us. John Wall ended up in Denver, so that's pretty massive for Denver. Why didn't Washington resign him? I have no idea. But lottery time. We're not going to have a good pick in this draft. Our pick ends up at 25. We'll still see if we can snag someone, you know, pretty good. We'll see. At number 25, if anybody is there, that's pretty good. So at 25, we got Javon Carter. Jalen Brunson is available. I mean, give me Jalen Brunson all day. Jalen Brunson, welcome to Indiana. You could not have scripted that any better. So Brunson, welcome to Indiana. We get Duncan Robinson in round 2 as well. I guess I can sign him. Player options. Paul George does, in fact, decline that player option, which was to be expected. And Doug McDermott's a free agent. So obviously, number one priority is re-sign Paul George. Thankfully, he only has one offer, and it's not a good offer. So we will come in and offer him the max and bring him back. So Paul George all day is brought back. No brainer there. So GR3 and Doug McDermott are both free agents. So I'm going to re-sign Glenn Robinson for sure. And Doug McDermott, I don't mind bringing back as well. So I guess I'll go ahead and do that. So we'll re-sign Doug McDermott as well. So I think we'll low-key just kind of run it back with kind of the same roster. I think if we do make a move, it'll be using trades. I think that's the best way to do things. So I do want to just kind of see how much Mitchell develops this offseason. It'd be massive if he could be like an 81 or something. That might be too optimistic. So he is up to an 80. So pretty close. He went up 5 overall, so he is developing. Millsap is regressing, which I kind of expected. And Turner, again, his hairline is screwed up so badly. I don't know what's going on there, but he went up to an 88. So that's kind of massive as well to see that. GR3 up to a 77. George Niang is up to a 76. So all around, fantastic stuff. But we're about to go into year number 3. We made the playoffs last year, got to round 2, fell short, unfortunately. But this will be the same rotation, other than Mitchell will be a little bit better, which is exciting stuff. And I cannot wait to see if we can maybe go on a deeper run this time. Second round was awesome, but can we potentially take that next step and get Paul George back in the conference finals? Find out. So at the end of year number 3, Russ wins MVP for the Thunder. Trae Young's Rookie of the Year in Orlando. Cameron Payne's 6th man. Draymond Defensive Player. Murray Most Improved. And Michael Malone's your Coach of the Year at 67 and 15. So a very damn good season by Denver. So here's your NBA first team. I got Harden in a Houston uniform. LeBron's still there. So Durant stayed in Warriors. So basically everybody so far still on their same team. So Steph's still there as well. You got Giannis, Anthony Davis. Yeah, nothing's... Or I guess DeMarcus Cousins went to the Knicks. That's a major change. Butler still, and then Denver, we saw that John Wall got them I should say that vice versa. John Wall went to Denver last year. Kawhi still a Spur. Blake Griffin's a Timberwolf now, and Memphis still has Marcus Gasol. All defense first team and all defensive second team. But we ended up as the 5th seed in the East. We do draw a probably tough Philly team. They have a lot of draft picks, as we know. So I imagine this is going to be a tough series. But we do have Donovan Mitchell improving his scoring from 15 to 20, which is nice. Turner with 13.5. Paul Millsap with 13 and 12 and 9 from Bobby Portis, who is developing really nicely as well. He's up to an 83, sneakily up to an 83, so love that for us. Okay, so we get to play the Philadelphia 76ers, who have Isaiah Thomas next to Ben Simmons. I guess if there was ever a guy to put next to Isaiah Thomas, it would be Ben Simmons. Weirdly enough, defensively, that works, I guess. They have Okafor, Luke Kennard, Rashawn Holmes, Luka Doncic is on this team as well. Absolutely insane. Okay, well, this should be a tough series. Somebody current round against them. And we find ourselves down 3-0. That's disappointing. And we lose in 5. So we go from a lot of optimism as far as making on a deep run, and we just get absolutely humbled in round 1 and just get bounced very quickly. So I do think we should probably make some major changes this offseason. We know Mitchell is going to develop. Maybe we upgrade Jeff Teague. Maybe we trade Paul Millsap. A lot of different things we could look into. Bobby Portis is, developing really nicely. So I will be looking into a number of different opportunities here. So I guess we could start with Paul Millsap, since he is the one making a lot of money on this team. And if we do have Bobby Portis, who I think could actually start at power forward for us, weirdly enough. So maybe that means we can upgrade our point guard spot with Paul Millsap. Let's just kind of see what the options are. So Middleton and Tyreke Evans. Kevin Love is interesting. 18 and 12. Jay Crowder and Corey Joseph. DeAndre Jordan and Rodney Hood. Mike Conley's fun. We get Mike Conley on this team. We get a first round pick on top of that. Randall, Brooke, Gary Harris is a solid starting shooting guard, but obviously we have Donovan Mitchell. Now we could move Donovan Mitchell to point guard and get away with it. Get away with that. I feel like Mitchell could definitely play point guard. And then Blake Griffin obviously is a ton of fun. Getting Blake Griffin on this team would actually be crazy. But I kind of like the idea of getting Gary Harris, weirdly enough. I feel like Gary Harris would just be a really good role player to have. We get a first round pick on top of that. We move Donovan Mitchell to point guard. And this saves a little bit of money as well. Not that that matters too much, but I do like the idea of Gary Harris. So I'm going to send Paul Millsap to Denver, who obviously he played with a little bit in real life. So Paul Millsap, thank you for your services. I've traded you now twice when I've gotten you in these videos. But I do love the idea of Gary Harris as a really good fit on this offense, plus being a pretty solid 3-and-D guy. So love that. And then Brunson, low-key, I don't know if he will, but there is a small chance that Brunson, we're going to take Claxton here, develops. I don't know if he will. I feel like I've gotten him before, and he ended up being fantastic in the Knicks video, if I remember correctly. But we'll find out. So Mitchell, and then qualifying offers, we got Bobby Portis, Niang, Miles Turner. So, you know, we're going to re-sign pretty much Miles Turner and Bobby Portis. That's a no-brainer. Georges Niang, I'm not as concerned about, but if we get him back, that's fine too. So we'll re-sign our front court, which is massive because we wanted to keep Bobby Portis around. And we do have a little bit of money. We could sign Wilson Chandler or like a Terrence Ross or Thad Young, bring him back. But all right, so Jeff Teague right now is our point guard. We do have Gary Harris, but we'll move Mitchell to point guard probably because he'll develop. So that does make Jeff Teague, in theory, a little bit more expendable if we wanted to trade Jeff Teague. So I'm going to look at the options there for Jeff Teague. So let's take a look at that real quick, especially if we traded like, maybe we trade Doug McDermott and a first to go with it. I don't know what that would give me, but we'll take a look at the offers really quickly. The Middleton, if we needed a small forward, I'd be all over that. Schroeder, I did get in the last video, so I probably won't do that today. Goran Dragic. We are getting some point guard offers, but nothing that, you know, I want. Shea, obviously, would be awesome, too. Has he played yet? He does. Okay, so there is a potential that Shea just jumps up like crazy, but get Kenneth Faried as a backup point guard is kind of crazy. Do I want to do this? I think we do it. I mean, we know how good Shea becomes. Like, so let's do it. Screw it. I'm going to go for this. This is going to make things a little interesting, but Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. We have Brunson, Shea, and Donovan Mitchell. That sounds insanely weird. I'm going to let player progression kind of determine how we're about to do things, because I don't think we're going to be doing anything else in free agency. We could resign, or could like sign a Wilson Chandler or something, but we pretty much have a full rotation as is right now. So let's go to player progression, and let's see how much like Brunson develops, Mitchell develops, and Shea develops, because that's going to determine a lot for me. So Mitchell's up to an 87. Absolutely insane. Bobby Portis up to an 83. Shea is up to a 79. And then Glenn Robinson is up to a 79 as well. So massive, absolutely insane. Absolute insanity. So does that, I mean, I feel like we got to start Gary Harris though. Because Shea, like I could start him, but we could, I mean, Gary Harris is a backup, sounds kind of crazy too when we start Shea. I don't know. A lot of different things we could do, but I think no matter what we decide to do, we're going to be damn good. I don't see this team not making the playoffs, I guess, if that makes sense. So there should be zero chance that we miss the playoffs. We have Shea. I mean, I didn't even pay attention to Brunson. I don't even know if Brunson developed very much. Let me go look at that. I wasn't even looking at him, to be honest. So I assume he didn't because I didn't really notice it, but maybe I just didn't see it at all. We'll look at that in just a second if I can find the guy I usually download. I don't see him low-key, weirdly enough, unless if I just passed him up here. I guess we'll just grab this one. So 2020 draft class. All right, so let's get into this. And did Brunson develop? Because I don't know if he did. So Brunson went up to a 75. So he did develop pretty nicely. So he is going to be waiting in the wings as well. We got just a ton of talent. I mean, you probably wouldn't be able to keep this all together if you were Indiana and if this was the case in real life. But this is a damn good team. I would be absolutely shocked if this team does not find themselves in the playoffs and potentially a top 3 seed in the East this year. So let's simulate this season and let's see how this team performs. So this time around, Jokic in a Bulls uniform wins MVP. Zion in a Detroit uniform is your Rookie of the Year. Cameron Payne's 6th man once again. Giannis Defensive Player. Luka in a Philly uniform, Most Improved. And Stephen Howard is your Coach of the Year. And Albert Bird is your Executive, aka me, because I'm the one making the moves around here. I don't think we have anybody in all NBA teams still, unfortunately, so that kind of sucks. But it's an all-around team effort as we end up as the 1st seed in the Eastern Conference. Here are your player stats. You had 22 from Paul George, 22 from Donovan Mitchell, 15 from Gary Harris, 14 from Miles Turner, and then only 13 from Shea so far. But, of course, that would probably improve over time. 11 from Bobby Portis. So, I mean, like, I definitely think there's a really good chance we can win a championship here. Now, we do draw Fox and Zion in round 1, and then Drummond's here as well, and Mikal, Mo Harkless. This is not a bad team in Detroit, but hopefully we can take them down and not get eliminated by an 8th seed. So, it's only occur round, and we are going to be up 3-2. Please don't go to a game 7. And we do beat them in 6. Okay, now we get the team that beat us last year. They kind of destroyed us low-key. And obviously, Luka has only gotten better up to an 85. So this is going to be a tough matchup. So game 1, 1-0 goes to us, though. So if we can smoke this team, I feel pretty... but maybe... Yep, there it is. Okay, so they evened it up. This team is not just going to roll over and die. We have to really earn this one. We got a huge game 5 ahead of us in Indiana. We got to win this one if we want to win this series. Because if we lose this... might be doomsday for us, at least in these playoffs. But we are going to win game 5. 32 from Mitchell, 22 from Paul George. Massive. And let's go ahead and see if we can close them out in 6 and not have to sweat a game 7. That would be fantastic stuff. And it's looking like we might find ourselves in a game 7 unless... yeah, it's game 7 time. So game 7. This one will be in Indiana once again. Hopefully we can win this one. I really, really want to find ourselves in the conference finals this year. We had the lead for a second. We take it back again. Got a nice little lead. I mean, we got a nice little lead going to the 4th, but can we keep it is the question. I think it's safe to say we won this game, but you never know, and we did win. So we are going to the conference finals. We beat Philly, who smoked us last year, and now we draw Cleveland. So Cleveland still has Kyrie, LeBron, and Kevin Love. They got Sam Decker. They got Derek White. They got Tristan Thompson. I mean, low-key, that Philly team was a little bit more intimidating, but it is LeBron and Kyrie still, so you really can't, you know, this could be Paul George's revenge finally on LeBron for all those times he got eliminated by LeBron, and we might return the favor here. And oh, never mind. So we're going to a game 5 in Cleveland. I actually think this is game 6 now that I think about it. So here we go. Can we beat them in this game 6? And we are going to beat them. So we're in the NBA Finals, beat them in 6. And now we get Minnesota, who does have Blake Griffin. We could have gotten... oh, wow, this is a damn good team. Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine, Parker, Blake Griffin, Cat. That's a damn good roster. Wow, I don't know if we'll be able to beat this team. I mean, we have a good roster in our own right, but man, that is a damn good roster that Minnesota has. Game 1 goes to them. Game 2, even it up. Game 3 goes to us. Game 4. Okay. This is going to be a close series. I can feel it. I think this is going to be a 7-game series, but if we win this one, I'd feel pretty solid about our chances here. We have a really nice lead. Just got to keep the foot on the pedal, and I think we'll win this. And we are going to win this game. So we win this one, which was massive. But like I said, I do have a weird feeling this is going to 7. Unless we close them out here, which is possible. I think we might be able to do it. We might win Paul George a championship in Indiana, and I think we've done just that. What a massive way to end this video. A minute 14 left on the clock. 99 to 120. Beautiful stuff. Blake Griffin's at the free throw line. I mean, this game is all but over. That was a damn good Minnesota team, but I feel like we put together a damn good team in Indiana around Paul George. It looks like we're subbing out the starters, putting in some reserves, and we got Claxton coming in. We do have Brunson probably out here as well, I assume. No, it's Chalmers. Why not Brunson, man? Why not put Brunson out here so I can play with Jalen Brunson? That's annoying, but all right. I got Mario Chalmers. I mean, put some respect in Chalmers' name. He was a damn good player in his own right for a while there in Miami or whatever. And then I think he did some solid stuff in Memphis. Gary Harris, 3, slightly early, not going to go down. 59 seconds left on the clock. Cat is going to push it up to Levine. I'm going to be there, and I'm going to let up, you know, a dunk, whatever. It doesn't really matter. I mean, we're up 18. If I find a way to blow an 18-point lead, I'll just retire forever. Okay. Gary Harris, give me a screen, someone. I want to see if I can... okay, so this is a deep shot. I definitely should not have gone out that far, but we don't knock that down. We had a good, an open shot. Minnesota's going to knock down the 3. 35 seconds left on the clock. All right. We have Glenn Robinson, Chalmers. Give me another screen, Kenneth Fareed. Let's see if I can actually make something happen here. I'm gonna go back to Gary Harris again. Not gonna go down. Not happening. All right. All good. It doesn't matter. The gameplay can be absolute trash. It does not matter at the end of the day. I mean, we didn't have any good... okay, we have 14 seconds left to make a shot. I can do this, right? I mean, sportsmanship would tell you to not shoot this, but I gotta make something here to end this video. Give me Claxton dunk. Okay, we put it in the basket once. I'll take that. That'll be the way this video ends. We bring a championship to Indiana. Paul George gets a ring in Indiana. And we bring, I mean, we put together a damn good team around him. And this team is only going to get better. The funny part. Like, if we kept going, Shea going to be phenomenal. Brunson's going to be phenomenal. Mitchell, but this team would get expensive very fast as well. Not going to lie. But yeah, damn good win here in the finals. Let's go look at that celebration really quickly. See if anybody's glitch in here. So Claxton's holding a trophy. That's so dumb. Yeah, let's just not show any of our starters. Like, no Paul George. That's funny. But all right, guys, I'm gonna end it there. I hope y'all enjoyed this one. I will see y'all in the next video. This is Crushables. I'm saying peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you click here to watch another video that I know you'll love.